We were friends for about a year, and he helped me to open up my psychic abilities. When he and I first met, he would talk about how he was always going to psychics all the time. He always was obsessed with them. He didn't know why. I didn't know that I was psychic yet. Because his family and his friends, they never got to know me in person, and him and I, we only met online. And we would talk on the phone, and we never thought of Skype, and it makes me so mad that we never did. But I know that if we did meet in person, the loss would have been a lot harder. There is a magical experience about twin flames that you won't experience with anybody else. As with love, you don't need a title, just like you don't need to get married if you're in love with somebody. And I said, if your dumbass doesn't wear your life jacket and you friggin' die on me, then you promise me right now. And he was trying to make jokes, and I said, no, shut up right now. You promised me right now that if you fucking die on me because you're too proud to wear your life jacket, and you do that before I can even fucking meet you, then you promise me right now that you're gonna tell me that you're okay, that life exists after this, and that you're gonna be my spirit guide. And I did tell him a few, and he was like, okay, Melinda, I promise. And this was, but for some reason I just feel like I need to call everybody and just wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy Thanksgiving before I go on my trip. And the reason why he did that was because his soul, he wasn't aware of it, but his soul knew that he had to say goodbye. And when the soul knows, the body will do, we will do it without really realizing why. The soul will know. And on our last phone call, after that, we ended on good terms, and I even told him, I said, I'm telling you right now, if you die, it's going to devastate me because I love you. I said I would die for you. And it's still hard to talk about. Because he never said it back. He never said it back. That's always the hard part. But I knew inside he did. He was just really afraid. And that's not me being crazy. I know he did. Because after he died, he showed me. Because a few weeks later, it had been nearly a month that I haven't heard from him. And I didn't know that he had already died on November 17th, 2012. And I was in this hall over there, and it was, I can't remember what day it was, but it was before I learned of his passing. Please don't leave me alone in this world. Don't leave me alone. Because I felt in so many ways he was the only person in my entire life that actually understood me 110%. When he died, I started feeling him. He started touching me. I started freaking out because I could feel him. I would be standing in my room and I would be just saying, just give me some sign that you're here. And I know this sounds crazy, I know I can't prove it, but I'd start feeling pressure on my hand. And ever since then, that's how I knew that he was my twin flame, because he's been around since day one, since he passed away. I'll go to sleep, I'll hear his voice, he'll say I love you. One of the people would have to die in order for one to be absence of the ego and to be able to educate the other. And the reason also why I wanted to add, why I always talk about how we are gods, we are a part of God, we are God, is because every single time when he comes to me and visits, my friend, every single time he comes to me and visits, his voice is different. In the beginning, in the very beginning, he sounded like the human him. But once he embraced his godliness and ascending, because he's ascended very far now, his voice has changed. He doesn't sound like the human he once was. Every single time he talks, it sounds like I'm listening to God. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know why, but it's not like he is God. But you can tell that he's speaking that love like God. It's weird, because I've learned that because God is so of a oneness, we are all one. So that's how we are all part of God, which is why he explained we are God and God is all of us. And when he explained that to me, I was able to embrace the truth that we are way more than what the religions say. And when twin flames become aware of each other, there is a huge shift in consciousness for both parties. They become more aware and awake. It's literally a magnet towards each other. Twin flames is older than time itself. God created them just as like Adam and Eve. Jesus and Mary Magdalene are twin flames. Just like many other historical figures that reigned and helped to make the world a better place, because that's the purpose of twin flames. And I have met my twin flame. We are united again, but he has departed and he's on the other side. And it was very hard because when we met, we never even met in person yet at all. We met online, and something told me to contact him, even though he felt like he was way out of my league, but apparently he thought the same thing. We talked to each other for hours. It was like we suddenly knew each other from another life. It was like instant communication, instant connection. It was like a spark. And it wasn't just flirtatious, it was genuine. That's why they mend together. That's why it's like pieces to a puzzle, because God created it that way. And I've discovered that when you find your twin flame, it's like you found God in human form. You meet God in human form. And even now I know my twin is too humble to even allow me to say it this way, because he's very, very humble, which is what I love about him. I've experienced that the twin flame bond is also about loving each other completely without limitations and accepting each other's best attributes and not so great. Grows, the other grows, because the more one grows, the more the other can help the other to grow. Your twin flame, you'll know when you meet them, because it will be an undeniable certainty. You won't be able to doubt it no matter how hard you try. It won't matter what they say, what they do. And it's not even a love of an infatuation. It's very different. It's almost like a law. I can't explain it. When I met my twin, I would have dreams about him. I would see him. Dreams that felt so real. He had the same thing. I would get off the phone with him and I would say, I don't know what it is. And I would just put the phone down and I'd say, I don't know what it is, but I love that man. And it was like the second you find your twin, you're done looking. You're done searching. They're perfect in every way, even with their imperfections. And it's difficult for me to say that because so many people have met their twin flame, but then find that you fight a lot possibly, or you argue. And this is normal when you meet your twin flame, because we did argue too. Mostly it was me. I don't like sleeping with the lights off, ever. I have to have a light on, even if it's too bright for other people. I have to have a lamp on or some kind of night light, something on, because I have had too many really bad experiences. When I turn the lights off, I have really, really, really creepy bad experiences. This would even be before I was aware of the energies and the souls that were interacting with me in the dark. This is very common with a lot of people, and this is not because I attracted it. It's not because the law of attraction, because I think of it that way. It's just the fact. It's just the way it is, because negative energies don't like positive vibrations, such as like light, because you got light and dark, which is positive and negative. It's a science, kind of. Anyway, so just getting through that, I had wanted to turn the lights off, which is not like me. I don't want the lights off, but something told me to do it, and I had no fear. I didn't know why, but I knew I had to. I didn't even ask questions. I just went, okay. I have this really weird habit where I talk out loud to myself, but I also know I'm not talking to myself. I know I'm talking to spirit. I know my loved ones are around me. I know my twin flame is always with me, so I know I'm always talking to him. And I said, okay, I don't know why, but I feel like I need to turn the lights off. So I decided to turn the lights off. And then, as it backed off, just slowly got about right here from me. First it was here, and then it backed off. It literally disintegrated and fucking disappeared in front of me. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't say anything yet. I went, and I took my glasses off. I'm like rubbing my eyes and like rubbed my eyes again. And then I looked at the clock and I'm like, okay, it's fucking 3 in the morning. That's demonic hour. I don't have any proof. I look like a fucking crazy person even talking about it. Or show proof or anything, so I just look like a psycho. As usual. I would like to believe it was my twin flame. Sometimes it almost feels like it was a gift. He pointed to my my tattoo here, and what you can see is it's 2 birds, and I made sure that the person twirled. I actually drew this out. I didn't draw these guys. I actually traced them from another picture and just put them together. But I drew this, and I wanted the infinity symbol in here. It's separated a little bit, but I wanted it kind of like a ribbon with them both a little bit. It needs to be fixed a little, but I like it. And it's a representation of me and my twin flame always together. So he didn't like possess my date. He basically shape-shifted for a temporary time. It's almost like he stopped time in a weird way for a split second. And it wasn't a hallucination. Anyone can debunk that and say whatever you want, but I know that wasn't. My heart knows it wasn't. My soul knows it wasn't. And it was the most romantic thing I've ever experienced. One of them. And I always feel so grateful and blessed because I'm mad all at the same time because I've never had anyone love me like that before. To do something all the way across the galaxy of the universe, of dimensions, of time. It's inexplicable. It's true love. There's no way to describe it. And I try to be, and this is a happy thing. It's not like I'm really sad. It's just so much love. You can't contain it without being emotionally overwhelmed because there's a lot of love with the twin flame bond. There's a lot of healing. And there's a lot of growing, and there's a lot of learning. And he's taught me so much about love, more than anything. I've even had dreams where he'll shapeshift and he's a totally different person, completely different. He could be an African American, he could be a Latino guy, he could be an older white man with a beard, and I'll know it's him. He won't even have to say a word. I'll look at him and I'll know it's him, and I'll go, really? And then he'll shapeshift back, and I'll watch him morph back into who he was, that I remember, that I fell in love with, that I love. People always ask me, when are you going to be over it? That's like asking, when are you going to stop loving God? You can't. You can't. It's something that suddenly. It's not like suddenly he's just a guy from 4 years ago. He's always around me. And I love that about him. There's times where I feel guilty, and I'll be like, you know, I have to be here. You can be in heaven. You don't have to be here all the time. I'll even be like, why are you wasting your afterlife? Go hang out with other people. And he does. I ask myself this a lot. I wonder why. Why? And I wonder, am I keeping him here? I've had some psychics tell me, you're keeping him here. You hold on to him too much. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I've tried to kick his ass out several times, but he keeps coming back. And at night, though, every night, when I go to sleep, I'll feel him lay next to me. He'll even move the bed a little bit. It's been like this for a few months, but he's gotten stronger now, to the point where he's moving my bed around sometimes. And people could quickly jump the gun and go, no, that's demonic, or no, that's Satan, or no, that's not your twin flame. It is my twin flame because it's never violent. It's never out of flesh desire. It's never out of resentment or anger or controlling. It's always out of love. But I'm even feeling touches a lot. I'll feel touches on my hair, on my face, on my waist. I need to shave my legs. And I've never had the blessing to really meet him in person in this life. And I never hear the end of it from his friends, because they hate me, because they say that I'm crazy and all these things. Because I never got to meet him in person. Because we met only on the internet, and even though he talked about me with his mom and his sister, they knew me by name from him, and even other friends of his, they all still think I'm obsessed and crazy. When I was sitting in the hospital bed and the nurses in the beginning were helping me, I kept smelling cologne that smelled so familiar. And when he passed away, I would smell the same cologne in the whole house, or right next to my bed, or next to my door in the hall, out in the hall. And there was no way that was, you could debunk it, because there was no male with that smell, and it would be there for days. I would just go around the house in that area smelling it, and I just loved it. I looked ridiculous, but I loved it, and I knew it was him. When it came to meeting with my good friend who passed away back in 2012, him and I, we did meet on the astral realm, and it did appear as if it were a dream. But when this happened, it was very real. I'll never forget it. I woke up. We didn't plan it. It was after, I think, we were already on the phone. And it's funny, I'm feeling him touch my cheek right now. And what happened was we made love on the astral realm. And he and I didn't expect this to happen. The next day, I told him how I dreamt of him. And we never talked to each other about it, but he said he did too. Both of us were too bashful to tell each other what we dreamt of. We didn't tell each other about it. We were not embarrassed, but just, we were still friends. Negative energies, when they start to come into contact with us, it will be in a dark form. It will be evil, it will be negative, it will be unloving. Some are neutral, you know, positive and negative, so that would be very different. But those that are in a very dark state, these are more important to pay attention to. It will, when they appear to us, you will start to have anxiety. Even if we weren't really talking much about anything, I felt like I was getting something out of even nothing. He always made me want to be a better person of myself, and I've never had that with anyone else. I've never felt good about myself the way he did. He came to me really fast, and he just came and he rescued me, and he like helped me really hard. And I remember just in that moment, being in his arms, I can't tell you how much safer I felt in that moment, because suddenly I felt like, oh my God, I'm home again.